I guess I'll before I even get to the seniors, I'll just start by I guess thanking all the band and everybody and all that could be here for making this a great night and a special night for our seniors as best we possibly could. And a quick apology to obviously Coach Houston and those in ECU 42-10, and we have a fake punt. It wasn't exactly something that we had planned or called, but nonetheless, it was something that happened probably and would not want to do it in that situation. But it is what it is. It's over with, and we can't take it back. And then to these seniors, I mean, we don't have enough time to really kind of honor them and say thank you to them, like we should, because what they have done and what they have been through and what they have grown into is unbelievably amazing. I'm so happy and proud to have been a part of it. We are here because of those guys, because of their selfless commitment, trusting and believing, because there was many times in that first year that was the other way around here. It was not pretty, it was not fun, and they continued to fight, they continued to trust, they continued to care about what it is we were doing and commit to the bigger picture of trust, respect, and love, and really building it from the inside out. And those guys have they've won, my heart, obviously, but that entire locker room, not just for what they've done, but the way in which they've done it.
All right, no other questions?
Nothing? All right.
I can start. Team's got to start. What makes the group of senior defensive backs so good together?
I think it's what they've been through. I mean, nobody probably really knows, and it's not just that first year what they've been through, what they've been through in the battle to get where we are, whether it's in the off season or during the season, and then what they've been through, obviously, with injuries. I think that losing James Wiggins last year made those guys even closer because he had to be a different kind of player. And his ability to still help Kobe and to still help Derek and to be a big part of what they're doing. All that adversity makes them who they are.
Jerrell White has obviously been handed the full reins to lead the linebacker core for you guys on the defense. He had his first defensive touchdown today. What was the vibe like on the sideline after that happened?
Well, he just lost the reins since he forgot how to act once you do score. So the reins, I don't know, but we're going to be pulled back a little bit tighter. He's done a great job. He is a really smart football player. He understands the game really well and can recognize things. Not to mention he's got incredible ability. So he continues to impress. He is a ball player on Saturdays or on Friday night or Saturdays especially, and he's a big part of what we do. We got to be a little smarter, but we'll handle that too.
Coach, you didn't appreciate being asked about the number of yards ECU passed for last year. You held Holton Ahlers to 87 this year. Is that considered redemption?
Well, the 204 that they had on the ground is still something that might be in our minds as well, but there's definitely a different feel for what it was last year. And that's where I knew coming into this game, this is a team that has ability to strike. And I think that, what we did tonight, I think at least in the back end, it really kind of taken away. And it's not – everybody wants to say it's just the back end. It's not. It's the ability for the guys up front. If you really notice, I think there's only one time that he had an opportunity to scramble around. And some of his best throws and most creative things that he does offensively is when he gets outside the edge. And I got to give those guys, the front guys, a lot of credit. It's one thing about getting sacks, another thing to do what we ask them to do and really keep him inside the pocket. They did a great job of that as well.
How much maybe was what you gave up on the ground a picture into how important Elijah Ponder is for this run defense?
I don't know. I think it's obviously going to be something. We know we missed Elijah. He's a first-team All-League player last year. He's one of those seniors that's just a heart and soul of what we do. Hopefully, we got Curtis Brooks back a little bit more. and then maybe this will be an opportunity that Curtis is kind of back in there, and we'll have to see how Elijah is. But it's hard when you lose one of those guys that's kind of the core and the cog of, especially up front.
Coach, specifically that sequence towards the end of the first half after the onside kick and you guys got the penalty and scored. I know you always want to capitalize on mistakes or opportunities, or however you want to put it, but is that something specifically this team you feel like they excel at or that you can focus on?
I think it's a great look into their ability to understand the game. I mean, that's not something you work on every day on a surprise onside. But Brian Cook right there up front recognizes it, sees it, attacks the ball, understands what the situation is. And then those are those body blows that we always try to pride ourselves and talk about, that they're an emotional swing. It might only be a ball on the 50-yard line or one touchdown, but the reality is it's a big blow emotionally, mentally, physically, in a lot of different ways. And that's what we've done such a great job of.
You mentioned the apology to Coach Houston. There seemed to be a lengthy conversation at midfield after the game. No handshake. What was the discussion there about?
I think that's COVID related. I don't know. It's I don't want us shaking hands. It is. It's one of those situations. I know. Probably one of my worst losses was at ECU 3.5 years ago, whatever it was, and I think I had told him about that at one point in time, and I think that's about all he really said to me. It was felt like it was kind of a similar thing to him, but we're all competitive. I think that's probably the greatest thing that we got, and hopefully we can give to our programs is the competitive spirit to what we do, and we just got to continue to move on.
Seems like Jared Dokes has just been consistent every game. How has he been able to keep it up with so many more carries this season?
I think what he has been through. I think that there's no greater ability to grow than when you've been through adversity. And if you've never had it, you've never been knocked down, you've never been counted out at some point in time, then you probably aren't going to grow like you really should and like you really need to play this game, especially. And what he has had to go through over the last 3 years, to me, makes him who he is. And whether that's just playing the game of football or be able to withstand, week in and week out, it has a lot to do mentally as well as physically.
Coach, last I checked, I think Dez completed passes to 9 different receivers. How much is that really just him finally getting a really consistent rhythm with all the different guys that have come into that room since the start of the season?
Well, you might have to ask him that, but I think that shows you his comfort level, I think, in the whole entire offense and understanding when you've got a guy that can, kind of scan the field and know what they're giving you and where you got to go with the football. The ball's going to be moved around a lot more. And I can tell you from this, preparing defensively, there's nothing more difficult than to prepare for somebody that can move the ball all the way, all around. Not only just make all the throws, but know where to deliver the football based on what it is that you're doing.
We've seen Jordan Jones a little bit more here over the past couple of weeks and had a really good game today. Can you talk about him kind of stepping up and stepping in maybe while Alec is getting back to 100%?
Yeah, he's had a tougher go at it too. This is, the guys that have been in the program for a while are the ones that, and especially in this tough time, you would expect to be the guys excelling. Jordan stepped in here, obviously, in the summer in the midst of COVID and all the stuff, and probably was only with us for a couple days. In the first 3 weeks he was even here, so he was even further behind. And I think he is now just really catching a stride in some things. And there's a bright future for him. We just got to keep him moving.
Coach, I don't know if you attribute it to coincidence or what, but you mentioned the seniors. Were you aware during the game how many seniors seemed to be making plays?
No, I wasn't until Cam broke loose for whatever that was. I didn't quite understand that, and then but there's nothing greater. I mean, we talked about. We said we wanted nothing more than to be able to give them an incredible night, and the way they played, the things that they had an opportunity to do. Sometimes you can't script that.
Coach, a bit of an obvious question, but how important is this 3-game stretch here on the road?
Oh, it's going to be huge. I mean, we're going to see what we're really made of. I mean, that's from health, that's from mental, that's from physical, that's from emotional side of things. It's going to be quite a stretch, you know, with a bullseye on our back and a lot of things we want to be able to do. But we've got to, we've got to kind of focus in, be hungry, and be humble in what we're doing, and find a way to continue to grow.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks,
Coach.
Coach.